Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, get started. Uh, so, first of all, you recall this slide. Okay, we're talking about planning. Okay, the company, first of all, should have what? Mission and the goal. Okay, after that, they should have a strategy. Then, okay, uh, after the strategy, we do the implementation. However, after that, we were talking about different levels, corporate level, business or divisional level, and the department or structure or functional level. So after corporate have the mission statement, you should have strategy. Then each business division should have the strategy. Corporate level strategy is different from the business strategy. Business strategy, okay, or divisional strategy is focused on what? Profit. So like the GE, the jet engine is a business division. How to make more profit. The appliance division or the medical equipment division, how to maximize your profit, which is different from the corporate level. In the corporate, they talk about more long term. She will be more focused, more diversified. So we will be talking about strategy for the corporate level, for the business level. Okay. And department and function also important. Okay. And they should also have their planning and everything. So let's get started. Okay. We will start it from here. Okay. Mission statement, section 3. Okay, we have to have a mission and a goal. Basically, every company has a reason to exist. Okay, so that's their mission. Okay, to be existing. Typically, we try to cover 3 questions: who we are, what we provide to, and how are we satisfying customer needs. Okay, typically people cover all these 3, but sometimes they simplify or they combine them. Okay, and let me ask you a quick question. What do you think the Walmart's mission statement is? In the bottom, you have the chat. Could you try to type in Walmart? Okay, what's their mission? How do they define themselves? Okay, I have someone coming in. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, great. Brett, super. Okay, so I think the first answer, okay, perfect, says everything. So what's the Walmart? Save people money so they can live better. Okay, and what's Google? Okay, Google started with what? Search engine. Remember that? Google search. Okay, the big web browser. They want to what? Organize the entire world's information to make it more accessible and useful. Okay, so the Google try to offer more information people can access and use it. Okay, of course, unfortunately, they didn't say what they want to offer more reliable and accurate information. They can stop the fake news. So they didn't want to get into that trouble. So they just what? They want to do their best to organize information and offer that what so people can access. Okay. So that's sort of the mission statement. And typically I can go over more, but since I talk too much on the group project, so we are in the time constraint. Okay. So just give you some idea about that. So after company has the mission statement, every CEO should have some major goal, okay? And these goals should be ambitious, should be realistic, should have a time period, okay? So during the pandemic, CEO of Microsoft, he has, okay, a specific goal during the pandemic, okay? My goal is how to helping people to solve their problem, how to helping people, okay, to come up with strategy to cope with the pandemic COVID-19, okay? So you have to have what? Different goals, and these has to be time period, okay? So after the mission statement, we should have some goal. And the next one we'll be talking about what is SWOT analysis. Okay, so every time a company goes through a new CEO, okay, this new CEO want to reformulate a new strategy, they always conduct a SWOT analysis. So anyone know what is SWOT analysis? Use the chat room, type in your answer. Okay, last time I have 4 or 5 people give me the SWOT analysis. Okay, anyone? Okay, can type in the SWOT analysis. Okay, great. Emma, you got it? Okay, so that's correct. So you folks can see it. A typical SWOT analysis have 4 components. Of course, S stands for strength, W stands for weakness, opportunity, and the threats. Typically, okay, SWOT analysis, we are talking about internal organizations and what? External environment. Okay, internally, we want to find out the strength and the weakness. Externally, we want to find the opportunity and the threats. Okay, so typical situation, SWOT analysis internally, okay, we want to find out product related, product or service related, department related, okay, human resources, marketing, and different things, and general management, okay. So these are all those possibilities, and could be strengths, could be weakness, okay. So you can see R&D, okay, product line, product development, okay, and so all these stuff is what? Departmental, right? R&D department, manufacturing department, different things. So internal things, you really have to go through focusing on your core product and focus on your core service and evaluate department by department to be able to find out the strengths and the weakness. Okay. And externally, of course, you want to find the opportunity and the threats. And so you'll be focusing on what? Your domestic market and the competition, foreign market, integration, horizontal or vertical. And of course, the key thing will be what? The competition. Also some substitutes and the different things. Okay, so SWOT analysis externally, we really want to focus on what? Competitors and your competition. Okay, so the section 4 talking about formulating your strategy, we use SWOT analysis, okay, to handle or to analyze the internal and external. Okay, then we'll be talking about section B, the 5 forces model. 5 forces model is proposed by Professor Michael Porter. This guy is Michael Porter. He is a professor of Harvard Business School, and his book and his theory being used 30, 40 years. Everyone in the strategy use Michael Porter's five forces model. And before you graduate, you have to take a course called 43, 48, 43, 47. That's the capstone course. It's also the business strategy course. Guess what? You will come to Michael Porter's, okay, five forces model. What are the five forces model? Okay, here you can take a look. Rivalry, okay, your key competitor, okay, potential to enter the industry, how easy people can get in, and the power of suppliers, the power of customers, and the threat to the substitute. How many substitute goods are competing with you? Okay, and this is from the website here. If you type five forces model on the website, everywhere. Okay, so let's take a look. We have to know the supplier, the power of supplier. Walmart is a typical case. They have a very, very powerful voice in terms of handle their suppliers. Okay, they bought everything in huge, okay, volume, so they can dictate the supplier. You want to offer me, okay, this is the price, this is specifications. People listen because what? They have a huge power, okay, to control their suppliers. The right-hand side talking about the power of buyers, the customers. Amazon is so successful. They have huge control of their buyers. From very early on, 20 years ago, they sold books. They try to use AI, artificial intelligence, to collect customer information. They know who you are. They know your preference. They know your purchasing price sensitivity, your purchasing preferences. Okay, so once you have a control of your customer, you are winning. That's very, very important. Then of course the substitute goods. If you have a lot of substitute goods, you are facing more tough competition and how easy people can get in. Okay, for certain industry, you just focus on your competitor. But for certain industry, you are not just focusing your key competitor. You also have to worry about what? Who will be the new guy pop up tomorrow, okay, and next door, because so easy to get in, okay? And so from Michael Porter's perspective, you focus center is what? Competitor. Then what? Supplier, customer in the supply chain. Then what? Substitute goods and how easy people to enter to the arena to fight with you. Okay. And that principle applies also to nonprofit organization and the government. Okay. So as a CEO, you always look at these five forces model. Okay. And it's a classical model. Every person teach you the strategy, okay, will go over these model, okay, called five forces model. However, later on, okay, people talk about hyper competition, okay. It's argued what? The five forces model is no longer sustainable over the long haul. Why? Because the advanced technology and the changing customer taste and the behavior are so severe. Okay, so in the future, okay, the five forces model, the traditional classical model is no longer working. And okay, according to the Richard, okay, Daveni, he's the professor, okay, and argue, okay, In the future, competitive advantage is no longer sustainable. You are competitive, you have competitive advantage. In very short period of time, you can lose everything because everything changed so fast. Create, eroded, destroy, and recreate. These kind of things are the major things for the future. Okay, and you just have to know the speed. Okay, and come up with everything. And in our textbook, we didn't quote these stuff. So I just go over very fast, 1 minute with you, okay? In a hyper competition, there's a 7S framework. Superior stakeholder satisfaction. You really have to have what? Very superior stakeholder, not stockholder. So stakeholder including a lot, including stockholders, employees, customers, suppliers. You have to have what? Great or superior satisfaction from everyone. Okay? Uh, New technology is important. Your strategy should be what? Very smooth and keep on changing. Speed. Number three. Okay. Number four is what? Surprise. You want to surprise your customer. You want to surprise your competitors. Okay. Shifting. Okay. Surprise, shifting. And this is what? Communication. Okay. Signifying, I think. Okay. So you have to communicate fast, simultaneously, strategy. So in general, speed is the key thing. Okay, you have to satisfy everyone. You have to have a new strategy. You have to keep up with speed. You have to keep up with surprise. You have to keep on, okay, shifting your rules and communicate well, okay, etc., etc. So in the new world of business, there's no boundary. Okay, your customer can be all over the world. Your you have more complex person to deal with. So you have to constantly think about speed and satisfy everything and the new strategy and no boundary. Okay, so that's something very interesting. Okay, no rules, but the traditional five forces model are still very powerful. It's logical. This one says, wow, like a chaotic, everything's fast and speed. And you can take a look and still not very popular, but okay, it's a new things, okay, you should know. Then, because we just talked about Michael Porter, so follow that, the textbook in the section 5 will be talking about formulating business level. Business level is talking about under the corporation, there's a different business unit. Of course, McDonald's, they don't, okay? They have McDonald's, then what? One business selling hamburger. But in GM, okay, they have different division. SUV, truck, okay, and different things. For GE, different division, jet engine, medical equipment, etc., etc. Okay, so this is talking about business unit. So what's the most important thing for business unit? Profit, because company want to maximize the profit, and the profit equal revenue minus cost. So if we want to maximize profit, we want to what? Either increase the revenue, increase the price, or we call differentiate your product. Or we can what? Reduce the cost, increase the size of economy, by efficiency and technology to what? Reduce the cost. So for a business division, we have four strategy. Okay, here I list five. Low cost, differentiation, focus low cost, focus differentiation. This stuck in the middle is no longer in the textbook, okay? But I want to mention it. Low cost is straightforward, okay? BIC ball pen, cheap. $2, you get a dozen, right? Gillette razors, you get a bag for a dozen, $1, $2. They focus on what? Driving the cost by size of economy and the efficiency and technology. So they beat everyone because they have low cost. Differentiation strategy. You want to differentiate your product quality, okay, and the sales service. So Apple Computer and the Coca-Cola, okay? And you probably think, oh, Coca-Cola is cheap, right? A couple dollars a bottle. But for that little bit drink, they cost what? 20, 30 cents. Okay? They want to what? Sell the price 4 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times than their cost. That's huge profit. So they try to differentiate that. If you buy some Coke, no brand, you can get a Coke for what? 20, 30 cents. Okay? So Coca-Cola is what? Differentiation. MacBook, if you have a Apple computer, typical computer, of course, there are expensive one, PC, but the cheap ones, you can get it what? $300, $400. MacBook, could you find anything 300, 400? Probably not, okay? Probably not. Then the focus differentiation and the focus low cost. The textbook, focus low cost. The textbook gives you something called ZERA, okay? Low cost strategy. The focus differentiation, they give you Gucci. So you know Gucci, okay? This type of bag, I only have 300. Each one has a tag. Each one has a number or something. They try to be what? Overly differentiated. How about this company called Zera? Anyone heard about this company? If you do, tell me what's their major product in your chat room. A lot of you probably never heard about it. Okay. And Emma, have you heard about it?
No, sir.
No? Yes. This company, okay, is amazing. They started from where? Middle of nowhere, a fish village in Spain. Okay. Traditionally, they make clothes, just like a typical company making clothes. But now they are multi-billion dollars company. Okay. So you really have to know this company. Okay. And next time you go to big city, you go to Dallas, you go to New York, you go to San Francisco, go to Zara, Z-A-R-A. They sell what? They sell lower price fashion product. Okay. So this company, if you go through the MBA or the case study, extremely innovated in their supply chain management. They send people to Paris fashion show, Milan, Italy fashion show. Then they can get the idea, some of the stuff 3 months ago in the fashion show. 3 months later, you can buy the clothes from where? Zara. And guess what? You pay 30, 40, 50 bucks instead of what? $4,000, $5,000. Okay? So they can turn around the design to the production, then through the supply chain to the company, okay? And their strategy, okay, is what? Low cost. So they only pick very heavy traffic area. Okay, you never thought, okay, uh, in the heavy, Fifth Avenue, New York, big, most expensive shopping mall, Zara is there, and what? Cloud of customers, because everything is what? $30, $50, and all these stuff, fashion. Okay, so it's a very, very famous company, and I want you to be aware of it. Next time you go to Dallas, okay, you go to Los Angeles, and you want to see it. They don't have leftover. They sold everything very fast, okay? They sell only the fashionable stuff. They change the season very fast, and they don't have all inventory. Everything first come, first serve. People are competing and grabbing their stuff. Okay, so that's a very interesting company. And in the international business class, we would teach people there's international supply chain management. How can they, okay, manage everything so effectively? Okay, so like IKEA, middle of nowhere in Sweden, become the largest furniture company. Okay, Zara, middle of nowhere, Spain, Fish Village, become what? One of the very large fabric and the clothing, fashion clothes company. Okay, so that's why we talk about what? Hyper competition. You want to shock people with your speed, with your creativity. You break the old rule, you break the boundary, you break something, you create something new, then you can be extremely successful. Okay, so that's called Zara, the focused low cost. Then we have something called stuck in the middle in my handout a few minutes ago. What is stuck in the middle? Let me ask you, okay? Toyota, stuck in the middle, okay? Let me ask you, Toyota. Is Toyota differentiation strategy or low cost strategy? Good question, right? Is Toyota cheap? Not really. Are they expensive? Not really. So if you want to buy a Camry, the cheapest one, 22, 24,000. But you can also get one for what? 45,000. They cover what? They want to cover different segments of the car group. Okay, so they call stuck in the middle. iPhone, they supposed to be differentiation, right? They want to sell you $1,000 iPhone 11, but you go to Africa, you go to Indonesia, you go to India. Can people afford $1,000 iPhone? The answer is no. Are you crazy? A stupid phone. You want to charge me $1,000? But iPhone want to grab the market share. They have their reputation. So in Africa, you know what? They are still selling iPhone 7, iPhone 8. For how much? $300. Okay. iPhone 7, iPhone 8 still have a lot of good features, a lot better than what? Those Android phones, cheap Android phones. Okay. So they go stuck in the middle. They try to cover what? Differentiation. They also try to cover what? Low cost. So certain company, they do that. Certain company, they have no clue. They never thought about pricing strategy, market share strategy. They have no clue, stuck in the middle. But certain company, they purposely choose what? Multiple market share, stuck in the middle. Okay, so as a manager, as a business owner, Okay, marketing major, you always talking about what? Position yourself. How do you want to position your product, position your company? Differentiation and the cost. It's a continuing. How do you want to position yourself? Okay, typically four: low cost, differentiation, uh, focus low cost, focus differentiations. Okay, so that's the business level. After we talk about the business level, next one we'll talk about the corporate level. Okay, for the corporate, okay, they have so many business units. I mentioned it, right? So for instance, GE, medical equipment, jet engines, okay, they have electric bulb, light bulb, and everything. They cannot focus on individual profit, okay, and so they have to focus on what? Long-term growth. Of course, they emphasize the profit, but they cannot pay attention to too many details. So they want the aggregated profit. They want the long-term growth. They want the market share. They want the sustainability. They want to see how can they maintain their core competency. So four important stuff will be their consideration. A and the B, concentration versus diversification. Okay, we talked about this last time. Kodak, Fujifilms. Kodak want to be more focused. 80% of resources, they're going to what? Focus on what they have done the best, which is photo filming. They lost. Fuji tried to go over diversify. We don't know whether we can maintain the number two of the photo film industry position. We move to medical image. Then with a good connection and network, they move to what? Pharmaceutical, cancer drugs, medical equipment. Now they can still maintain 20, $30 billion revenue every year. Kodak, no. Okay. McDonald, focus or diversify? Focus, right? Do they sell anything else? Not really. Pepsi and the Coke. Pepsi is more focused or diversify? Diversify. They also have what? Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. These are all what? Part of the Pepsi. So they want you to go to the restaurant to eat, then what? You will buy Pepsi. Okay? It's all what? Complementary. Coca-Cola, they don't want to do that. Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola. Okay? So a lot of company, they decided to be focused. A lot of company decided to be diversified. And last time I mentioned which way is better, focus or diversify? What's the answer? It's a cycle. Overly focused, then what? Move towards diversify a little bit more. Overly diversified, then what? Lose the concentration, move to what? More focused. A typical situation, GE, 1980s, Jack Welch, WELSH, okay? He was the one diversify the company. They bought the what? NBC. They bought the finance company, GE Finance. They are so diversified, but all these stuff helping them. You want to buy a medical equipment, you want to buy a refrigerator. Guess what? GE Finance can give you financial stuff. They use the NBC News to promote a lot of things. But after he retired, the two CEO succeeded him, find out so diversified, so difficult to manage. You talk to the president of NBC, you talk to the president of finance, you talk about the engineering, jet engine president, totally different. Different language, different vocabulary, so difficult. So GE tried to move to what? More engineering focused, more technology focused. They sold all those what? Unrelated business. So their profit gradually what? Coming back. So the key is what? You sometimes focus, sometimes diversify, and you keep a balance. Do the best mixed, okay? That's important. And after we talk about the diversity and the focus strategy, we talk about vertical integration and horizontal integration. Okay? What is vertical integration? You integrate those companies in your supply chain. Okay? So, Apple, in the Apple cider supply chain is a lower place. You started from what? Planning Apple. Then what? You do the apple cider, then you sell the customer. So if Coca-Cola buy a big apple orchard, is that a vertical supply, vertical integration or horizontal? Vertical, right? Because what? They go to the lower end of the supply chain to buy the apple orchard. So they have what? Good supply of high quality apple. So they can make what? Good apple cider. Okay. So some of the company, they do what? A lot of vertical integration. So Coca-Cola doing a lot of vertical, like I said, they bought some what? Fruit orchard, ranch to provide some okay suppliers. They can also integrate partner with a big stadium, okay, cowboy or whatever stadium. A lot of people watch the football, the baseball. They need a drink, okay. If they all drink what? Coca-Cola, and they bought the Coca-Cola t-shirt, they bought the Coca-Cola baseball hat and everything. That's vertical because what? That's one type of extension about your what? Supply chain distributors. They partner with their distributors. Okay. So for the corporate, you also think about if you want to diversify, you go vertical in the supply chain, buy some of those highly related stuff, or you go horizontal, buy something what? Related but not directly related. Okay, so you can see Coca-Cola is more vertical, Pepsi is more horizontal. They bought what? Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, that sort of stuff. However, Coca-Cola also bought something horizontal in different city. They bought different Coke. They bought different juice. They bought what? Different healthy drinks. Okay, so they bought their competitors to reduce the competition. So in the diversification, you always look at the what? Integration. You go supply chain. See whether you want to focus to integrate the whole supply chain or what? Horizontal. You you beat your what? Competitor in the competition. Okay. Next one is globalization. So you have to understand what is vertical integration, horizontal integration. And vertical versus horizontal using the supply chain, okay, as a reference. Okay, if it's integrated along the supply chain, that's vertical. In the same level of the supply chain, focus on the competition, then we say what? Horizontal integration. Next one is globalization. Okay, globalization is very, very important. For the past 40, 50 years, through globalization, everyone makes huge money. Amazon, I told you, they went to China, India, not China, 2013. By 2020, 7 years, what's their revenue? $48 billion. That's bigger than the what? Accounting Big Four company. That's bigger than McDonald's, bigger than a lot of things. So you see, globalization, if you use it effectively, huge money, right? Microsoft, Office, Windows, they have huge profit from where? All over the world. Apple, okay? Just by selling the iPhone in the US, 30%. The other 70% is what? Global market, okay? So for the past 40, 50 years, globalization are very, very important. How come? For the past 2, 3 years, nobody talk about global integration, globalization. People are talking about competition, okay? Instead of globalizing, talking about compete. I block you, you block me. I increase the tariff, you increase the tariff. What's the major reason? Because now, for the past few years, we realize China grew up so fast. In the US post-World War II, we started from 2/3 about global GDP. Global, okay, gross production. We, USA, dominates 2/3, 67%. Okay, we contributed to. Now we dropped to what? 25%. Okay, and so number one and number two, huge difference. In the past, people think even 100 years, nobody can what? Reach close to our level. But China, after 1980, their country's GDP is approaching to what? 65% of our GDP. So China used to be number 20, number 50, number 200, whatever, moving very close to us now. If we still talk about globalization, friendly competition, we'll be losing number one in no time. Okay, so that's why from Donald Trump, Joe Biden, okay, we want to what? Focus on competition instead of globalization. Okay, and that's a big change, but it is a change. You have to realize. So to do the international business, still important. Still important. You are not the government officer. You are not responsible for the responsibility of the entire country. You just want to make profit. So globalization, they're important, but the politician and the government, okay, they are not that, okay, key into the globalization, okay? And the typical situation, these are the strategy. The textbook have one, then they combine licensing the franchise. strategic alliance and the joint venture. So, and the whole on. So the textbook at 4, I got 6. Okay. So every time you start international business, first thing is what? Import export. The easy way is what? You can sell your product to Asia, Japan, whatever, to get extra money, increase your market share. Risk is very low. Of course, the profit is also limited because you have to what? That your partner in the other country to help you sell the stuff. They probably take a big cut of it. Okay, so we started with import export. If it's successful, then we normally will think about licensing. Okay, if my stuff, I sell a lot of them to Ivory Coast, then maybe I should what? License to a company in Ivory Coast to manufacturing it, then sell it, then I can increase what? The profitability. Or franchise, okay? If I cannot export my Big Mac to China, so I franchise. I have a company in China. They do the local Big Mac. I provide the know-how. So licensing and franchised, okay, still very low risk, but what? More profit. But the risk can be significant. You licensing, you do franchise, people still going to what? Steal your technology. Okay, so we do a lot of licensing, subcontracting, or outsourcing. As a result, they become your competitor. Samsung, 40 years ago, what do? They don't have a brand name. Whatever you want, they manufacture for you. They are the subcontractor. Now who they are? One of the largest electronic company. Okay, because what? Through this licensing and everything, they gradually accumulated all those technology. So even it's still safe, okay, but that's next step. And a lot of companies still very cautious about franchising and this stuff. Strategic alliance and the joint venture. So next one, okay, if you do very well, then okay, you joint venture. GM, you know what's the best selling model in China? Buick minivan. All the business guys, they like Buick minivan. GM cannot what? Make the car, sell the car, etc., in China. So they partner with one of the Chinese company so they can GM Shanghai. Then what? Then they can do very well. So you have to do the joint venture, or you do what? Or you do the strategic alliance. Okay. So you do the strategic alliance. Last one is what? Holding on. What does that mean? You own 100% yourself. Okay. Big petroleum refined company. You don't want to partner. You don't want anything. You want to what? Doing your oil refining yourself. Investment is huge, multi-billion dollars. Anything screwed up, totally lost. But the profit is what? Huge. Okay. So in the international business, we have these 3 or 4 levels. Okay. Beginner also started from what? Import export. Okay. And Tesla, I just want to finish it in 1 minute. I told you folks, reverse psychology. They went to China 2020, 2019. And Chinese, because Donald Trump allowed the punishment, trade tariff, Chinese giving a lot of what? Advantage. So Tesla can have 100% of their own manufacturing without be partner with the Chinese company. Okay, and they have total control. So they have what? huge profit. That's why part of the reason the stock price is so successful. Okay, and I know I rushed a little bit. Okay, but yeah, last time we talked too much on the group project, and I mentioned it. Okay, it's an important project. You have to know the communication skill. You have to know your member. You have to use relationship memory to know people better. You have to do the task structure better, and you have to do your format better. So this week, please, please, please contact your group member and get the team organized. You also should know what company you should be doing, how many tasks you will have. If you have more questions, let me know. Other than that, Wednesday and the Friday, we will finish chapter 9. Okay, thank you. It's nice week.
Thank you.